I'm very curious to read your thoughts on this device. Out of nowhere, Lenovo retro handhelds have been making their way to Chinese retailers such as AliExpress. It has official branding, a pretty official looking box, and even showing the loading screen using their very own logos. Curious as I am as someone who reviews these things for a living, I didn't know whether or not this was real or if it was just another white labeled product infringing on Lenovo's logos in order to generate sales. So I ordered it in, thinking anything would arrive, even a brick would arrive, or something with no logos. You know, AliExpress and these other Chinese retailers, they're a little bit dodgy, I'll admit to that. So when this actually arrived, as promoted with all of the Lenovo logos on it, I was really intrigued and I had to dive deeper. So I checked out Lenovo's Chinese website and found a page called Lenovo G02, and it indicated that this has the same product number on the box as it does on their product description on that page. So there was definitely a correlation there. So I dug even deeper and tried to get in touch with Lenovo's Chinese teams or anyone involved in product and licensing. There was many days of back and forth, and I found someone that was in charge called Pedro who emailed me stating the G02 device is produced through a regional brand licensing agreement meant for the China market only and is not part of Lenovo's official global product portfolio. As such, products developed through these agreements may differ from Lenovo products sold through authorized channels. So what they've done is they've given this brand the authority and the license to use their branding through an agreement exclusive to China only. So this thing is really theirs. Not only has it come from Lenovo's team themselves, but it's also on their Chinese website. And it's why I'm making this video today, primarily to tell you guys, our subscribers and the retro gaming community, to stay away from it because it is a low quality product, which we'll get on to in a minute, but also to call out Lenovo, to tell them to do better, and to give them a heads up that this is damaging their global reputation, in my opinion. I had a high opinion of Lenovo before this. They make great products. They sponsored a video of ours in the past about the Legion Go handhelds, but this isn't the Lenovo I know. It's tatty, it's low quality, and I think it's disrespectful to the retro gaming community. And like, you've got billions in the bank. You could make something great. You could have generally made a superb retro handheld in the space that competes with the guys at Neo, Ambernic, and even Retroid. Yet you went down this incredibly cheap route. You gave someone a license to use your stuff, and you've actually preloaded this with a bunch of ROMs, which is intellectual property, and I'm pretty sure is illegal. So what the hell is, and you may be thinking, Brandon, why are you snitching on them? I'm basically looking out for the little guys here, because a lot of people will buy this because it has Lenovo branding on it, and they'll soon realize that it's a pretty damn terrible product. And there are others on the market for the same price or even cheaper that are much better and don't do any kind of illegal activity. And it's not the fact that I think Lenovo, like, I care about all the other smaller companies doing it. They can get away with it. In China, there are very lax laws, and for Nintendo to go out and find these smaller companies probably takes more money than it's worth. And it's why they allow it in some sense for these smaller companies to get away with it. And they have attacked these smaller companies in the past, but it's likely that they just dissipate or shut the company and then just return under another brand name. But for Lenovo to pull this little shortcut and to take intellectual property from Nintendo and Sega is unheard of. I've never seen a multi-billion-dollar company like this take such a disrespectful shortcut in terms of manufacturing and white labeling something and using a different company and just giving someone a licensing agreement to make it in order to generate £60 worth of sales. Less, obviously, because there's a cut, so let's say 30 quid. Why not use your incredibly talented creative team, which we've seen develop Legion handhelds, and create a Legion Mini, a little Android handheld for 150 quid that competes with all of these big dogs in the space right now. That's official and isn't illegal. And Lenovo could be using a loophole here stating that, oh, we didn't load the ROMs, it was the company that we licensed it to. But, you know, it's still your product. Your name is on the front of the box. You should be credible for everything the customer buys and everything that is loaded within this product. And I see a lot of you on X and on our website commenting that Nintendo don't care. They aren't bothered by this. Nintendo won't act because it's a Chinese company and there's different international laws. Well, there's different international laws, but it's untrue that they haven't successfully sued companies in China before. They've found companies that are using ROMs on devices in the past and have successfully sued them. Though perhaps this tiny bit of text at the back of the manual, in English by the way, which is odd for a Chinese exclusive device, that states that any legal disputes from the game content have nothing to do with Lenovo. So it's like Lenovo are just going, what is the way that we can get around this and not be sued? Let's put something right at the back of the manual that covers our butts. I don't know how far that will go in Chinese laws. It might mean that they can't be touched, but it's just funny how Lenovo are probably gonna kind of push it to the side, said, hey, it's not our issue. We didn't load the ROMs, but we will put in the back of a manual a tiny bit of text just in case. So that aside, and why I think you guys shouldn't buy this and why Lenovo needs to do better, let's actually take a look at the device itself. Let's just do a mini review, because a few of you have said, is it any good and what does it look like and what it can do? The build resembles many handhelds in the space because it's a generic and likely licensable design that could be cheaply manufactured and quickly too. It resembles many of Anbernic's handhelds and many other Chinese handhelds like the R36S, likely all using very similar buttons, analog sticks and shoulder buttons that are mass produced and are incredibly cheap to purchase. Which I will add are very low quality, especially the shoulder buttons. They barely move, are incredibly thin and sit very tightly to the contact, so any slight movement will push them in. Heck, sometimes the weight of the device itself on a table will push them in. The D-pad can be pressed at such an angle that it activates more than one direction, and it isn't comfortable because of the array of markings. And the speakers are located under my thumb, so blocking any sound in a very annoying way. And the joystick, although not TMR or Hall effect, has too much bounce back, yet has a nice customizable LED around it that can be changed with the RG button on the front of the device. Though like many areas on here, if you look closer you start to see shortcuts, like the analog stick not being big enough in the shell so that light will protrude through from the LED when moved. The quality of the shell is very noticeable straight out of the box too. It's that really thin, scratchy plastic that reminds me of the toys that you find on the front of magazines. The paintwork on here is also a little off, especially on the interior, but not that you see that, but there are some inconsistencies on the back, in the side, if you go for this black and red gradient version, which is one of three. There's this, a white one, and a black one, I believe. It features a 4.5-inch IPS display with a resolution of 1024 by 768. It's bright and crispy and a good size too, with minimal bezels. The display choice was a good one, although it does look a little washed out in many areas, so the colors don't pop as much as they do on other IPS displays that I reviewed. Once you load it up, you'll be greeted with a Linux OS pre-installed with Emulation frontend, which has a few customizations to it and lays out the preloaded games neatly. And in total, Lenovo has pre-installed over 21,000 games on here, ranging from Sega games, Nintendo games, and Neo Geo games. There's even a theme on here that will show the R36S branding on it, which is a completely different Chinese handheld that this front end was developed for. Again, indicating yet another shortcut that Lenovo didn't want to make their own front end, and perhaps they've just taken the software from the R36S, if that's what it's called, I can't remember, and just preloaded it on here. So maybe that is the company that Lenovo got to manufacture this and white label it for them. Internally, it features an RK3326 CPU, which is found in many other cheaper handhelds. It also has 1TB of storage and 4000 mAh of battery. So again, nothing special, but enough to get you by in terms of emulating up to and including PlayStation 1. I first dived into Nintendo 64 to be met with an immediate bug, literally in a bug's life, showing glitches and chaos. I then moved to Cruis'n USA to be greeted with more graphic glitches and major slowdown, to the point where it was not enjoyable to play on. And because there's no menu button on the device, you have to come out of the game to then realize there are no menu settings to tweak performance. So Nintendo 64 emulation was stuck at being unplayable, which is quite surprising for a almost $90 handheld in 2026. Dreamcast was similar, although playable if you don't mind some slowdown. PlayStation 1 and lower though is where things start to pick up and gameplay is somewhat enjoyable thanks to the CPU being capable of this type of emulation and the additional joystick. Going back through the years, a little Game Boy Advance performed well and fit the display very nicely. The same goes for Neo Geo, Mega Drive and Game Boy, which is where the device excels in my opinion simply because of the bright display. But that said, $40 devices on the market can do just that, and it only requires a D-pad and a smaller form factor and probably a smaller screen just to do it just as well and as comfortable. This device isn't like terrible. If you gifted it to your dad or a friend that has no experience with retro handhelds, they'll probably think it's pretty neat. But when you peek behind the curtains at how this was built, alongside comparing it to other more official devices on the market, that's when you realize that this is a very low quality product for its price. And that's even if you take away the Lenovo branding. The fact that Lenovo has determined that it's worth slapping their name on it really confuses me, because it's damaging their reputation and makes their brand look like another cheap Chinese knockoff handheld, which is not how I perceived Lenovo before making this video personally. And I don't really want to dive deeper into this handheld. It's not one that I believe anyone watching this will benefit from buying it. It's just a video to make you guys in the retro gaming community aware that there are companies out there trying to take advantage of this cheap and cheerful manufacturing process. And it's very surprising that a billion-dollar company has now entered the fray with something like this. And it's basically a video for me to say to Lenovo how disappointed I am in manufacturing something like this. Like, smaller companies can get away with it, and other customers that are not aware of this scene will be generally intrigued and maybe even impressed by it. But we don't want that as retro gamers and handheld enthusiasts. Lenovo has a bunch of money. They have incredible members of their team that can create impressive handhelds. So why not just build something that is genuinely great? They've took a massive shortcut here that's damaging their brand, and I believe they can do something better, and I want them to. So if you're watching this, build something better. Talk with creators, talk with people in the space and actually what they want in a £60 handheld and make it. Heck, even email me, I'll help you. But the fact that you're making something like this, I don't appreciate it. I can imagine a lot of retro gamers don't appreciate it, and I can imagine Nintendo and Sega don't appreciate it either. They're not promoting this as something that can play Nintendo and Sega games, but it's, again, when you peek behind the curtain and actually load this up, there's a bunch of IP on here, which is very surprising for a brand of this size, such as Lenovo, to come and do. Like, who the hell signed this off is beyond me, but I think they can do better, and Lenovo, you should do better too, you cheeky buggers.